Get ready for the action because the space economy is exploding. We start with Rocket Lab, where we look at the fundamentals of RKLB. This company is showing real revenue, a massive backlog, and a strong defense moat, making it the most fundamentally grounded name in this space race. We dive into why RKLB is positioned to benefit as we look toward the future of medium-lift launches.
Never get caught with a dead phone again. This INIU portable charger is compact, travel-friendly, and gives you fast 45-watt charging with a built-in USB-C cable, so there's no need to carry extra cords. With 10,000 mAh power, it's perfect for busy days, trips, emergencies, or anytime your battery drops too low. Grab yours on Amazon through the link in the comments before your phone hits 1%.
Next up, we are tracking the highly speculative ASTS. We need to analyze the regulatory wins and the execution risks following the recent Bluebird launch failure. We will explore how every delay pushes the revenue ramp, and whether the thesis holds for ASTS Spacemobile as they aim for those crucial 45 to 60-second generation launches. Now it's time for the lunar logistics play with LUNR. We are examining the critical IM-3 mission landing in the second half of 2026, and how that single event could validate their ambitious revenue guidance. If LUNR delivers on their mission success, this stock is poised for a major re-rating, but we'll also discuss the risks if lunar missions slip. Finally, we look at the big picture with SpaceX and how you can get exposure before the IPO. With SpaceX rumored to be targeting a massive valuation, investors don't have to wait. We'll show you the ETFs like XOVR and RONB that give you early access, and we'll review the massive investments from Alphabet and Bank of America to see how you can position yourself for this trillion-dollar event. Open the channel YouTube app to review your watchlist now. Space stocks are gaining traction as the space industry moves from science project to operational reality, with a potential SpaceX initial public offering reportedly weeks away. Launch costs have plummeted by nearly 95% since the Space Shuttle era, driving renewed investor interest. Projections indicate the global space industry could reach $1 trillion in annual revenue by 2040, with some analysts placing this milestone closer to 2030, driven primarily by the near-term dominance of satellite broadband services. Investors are looking at three distinct plays within this emerging economy, each carrying a unique risk profile. Rocket Lab, RKLB, is positioned as the closest public competitor to SpaceX, with its Electron launcher serving as a workhorse and the medium-lift Neutron rocket slated as a 2026 catalyst. RKLB demonstrates strong fundamentals, reporting Q1 2026 revenue of $200.3 million and a backlog exceeding $2.2 billion, bolstered by significant defense contracts. The successful flight of Neutron in 2026 could establish RKLB as the primary Western alternative for medium-lift payloads, though execution risk remains a key factor. ASTS Spacemobile, ASTS, represents a more speculative investment thesis, the direct connection of unmodified smartphones to satellites. Regulatory hurdles have been cleared, with FCC authorization granted in April 2026 for direct-to-device access. While a recent satellite launch failure impacted operations, the company's revenue ramp is tied to meeting its projected cadence of 45 to 60-second generation Bluebird launches in 2026. Investors are advised to monitor the Bluebird launch schedule closely. For lunar logistics, LUNR offers exposure to the growing lunar economy. The company secured a significant contract to deliver payloads to the lunar South Pole, with the IM-3 mission targeted for the second half of 2026 as a critical validation point. Management has guided substantial revenue growth, making the stock a binary play dependent on successful mission outcomes. For broader exposure, the Procure Space ETF, UFO, offers a diversified approach, holding 54 space-related names including RKLB and ASTS. For retail investors, allocating 2% to 5% of a portfolio to a thematic space allocation is recommended to capture upside without overweighting volatility. SpaceX itself remains private, having reportedly filed an S-1 for a potential June listing at a $1.75 trillion valuation, which would subsequently be absorbed by index funds. In summary, RKLB is favored by fundamentals and backlog. ASTS is a story stock dependent on execution, and LUNR requires patience awaiting lunar mission results. Investors are encouraged to build watchlists and apply disciplined risk management when engaging with these dynamic space opportunities. A SpaceX Falcon 9 rocket successfully launched from Vandenberg Space Force Base on Monday evening, carrying a payload for the National Reconnaissance Office, marking a significant evolution in the agency's intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance capabilities. The rocket blasted off at 7:13 p.m. from Space Launch Complex 4 on the South Base, with the first stage booster subsequently landing minutes later on a drone ship in the Pacific Ocean. This mission was part of the National Reconnaissance Office's ongoing transformation, shifting from launching massive satellites to deploying dozens of smaller craft for ISR roles. Bill Adkins, Principal Deputy Director of the NRO, stated that the agency is meeting and exceeding its commitments, noting a rapid transition from announcing the first phase of their proliferated architecture to operational performance. The NRO's proliferated architecture, which involves multiple small satellites, has demonstrated substantial success. In 2025, this architecture captured over 400,000 data collections. The agency has already placed more than 200 satellites into orbit through launches from various locations, including Vandenberg. Adkins emphasized that this constellation is shortening revisit times and increasing observational persistence, thereby enhancing resilience and security against adversaries. The mission, designated NRO 172, was the 13th launch under this new proliferated approach. NRO representatives indicated that 2026 is expected to be a dynamic year with a robust launch schedule, with additional proliferated launches planned through 2029 to sustain growth and innovation. Following the Vandenberg launch, the next SpaceX launch from the Central Coast location is scheduled for Friday morning, carrying Starlink satellites. SpaceX has successfully launched a Falcon 9 rocket carrying the classified NRO 172 mission for the National Reconnaissance Office. The launch took place from Vandenberg Space Force Base in California. The launch is currently live, allowing viewers to watch the event unfold. The mission is significant for national intelligence and reconnaissance operations, as indicated by its classification. The launch is credited to SpaceX. Investors eager to gain exposure to SpaceX ahead of its rumored initial public offering, potentially valuing the company between $1.75 trillion and $2 trillion, have several immediate options available through exchange-traded funds, according to analysis by the Motley Fool. While these funds are not exclusively focused on space stocks, they offer a pathway for early investment. The ER shares private-public crossover ETF, ticker XOVR, currently holds the largest allocation to SpaceX, representing nearly 20% or $230 million, making it the most significant component in the $459.7 million fund. Another notable fund is the Crane Shares Artificial Intelligence and Technology ETF, AGIX, which includes SpaceX among its 3 privately held holdings, ranking it as the second largest of those, with Anthropic being the ETF's largest component. The Barron First Principles ETF, RONB, also features a stake in the company, allocating 3.8% to SpaceX, which is its 9th largest holding. This ETF is noted for its broader focus on Musk companies, including a significant 15.3% weighting in Tesla. Beyond ETFs, major institutional investors are also positioning themselves. Alphabet invested $1 billion in SpaceX in 2015 at a $12 billion valuation, suggesting a potential stake worth up to $100 billion at the IPO. Furthermore, Bank of America has also been active, having invested $250 million in the company in 2018, when its valuation was $30 billion. and the bank is one of 21 financial institutions participating in the upcoming IPO.